Now, as more businesses across North Carolina prepare to reopen, today Governor Cooper would not commit to entering phase 2 this Friday.
The governor gave an update on the state's response this afternoon, saying they're hoping to get to phase 2. He said there will be an announcement likely midweek, but he didn't go so far as to say it will definitely happen, saying they need more data.
Our indicators and trends are going to tell us when North Carolina can ease some restrictions.
Now, the governor and state leaders said there were still some things to work out when it comes to phase 2. We know it would lift the statewide stay-at-home order and open up restaurants and gyms and salons with, of course, social distancing, but officials have not yet given specifics on the rules surrounding pools or a possible limit on the size of gatherings.
Channel 9's Elsa Gillis is joining us live now. And Elsa, some business owners that you talked with say they want to be ready for when that decision about the next phase is made.
Yeah, and we should expect an update from the governor about whether or not we can move into phase 2. He said about midweek, but the business owners I spoke with are in full preparation mode for whenever that happens.
I'm excited to see my chairs down and people sitting in them again.
For Chef Bruce Moffett, the past several weeks have been full of ups and downs.
I think I've learned a lot about my business and where the weaknesses are and what I need to improve on, and I've also learned what the strengths are.
As of now, he plans to reopen 3 of his 4 Charlotte restaurants to diners about a week into phase 2. But of course, it won't be business as usual. His cozy South Park restaurant Barrington's, for example, will be more spread out.
We'll have, rather than a hostess, probably we'll have someone at the front that'll be kind of the safety guide person and kind of let people know what we're doing to keep them safe and just kind of be really proactive with, to help ease customers.
He's still hashing out protocols, but says employees' temperatures will be taken and they'll wear masks. And diners can expect a sanitation station when they walk in. Further north in Plaza Midwood, Arthur Venegas is preparing his 1213 studio for cuts and coloring once again.
We have contacted the State Board of Cosmetology and they're sending out recommendations of how to reopen safely. We will be having partitions between the stations just so the clients and our fellow booth renters feel safe. We also are going to have sanitary stations throughout the salon.
And coming up at 6, I'll share a little bit more about what this salon is doing to prepare and the governor's recommendation for both people who work at salons and barbershops and for their customers. Erica.
All right, we'll look forward to that. Thank you, Elsa. North Carolina actually uses 7 benchmarks to determine whether to move to the next phase. And phase 3 would not come until at least 4 to 6 weeks after phase 2 starts. There would be softer restrictions for vulnerable populations, increased capacity at bars and restaurants, and an even higher number of people allowed to gather in the same place. North Carolina completed more than 6,800 COVID-19 tests yesterday, and just over 500 came back positive. That's about 7%. And now take a look at this chart. It actually tracks the percentage of positive tests. You can see it has changed a lot over the past 2 weeks. The dotted blue line actually represents a 7-day average of the percentage. It is lower now than it was 2 weeks ago. And remember, the state wants to see a downward trend in that percentage over a 14-day period as we move toward further reopening.
In South Carolina, there are 126 new cases out of more than 4,000 tests done. The percent of tests that came back positive was just 3%. Hair salons, gyms, and swimming pools allowed to reopen in South Carolina today. Now, those businesses, some of them require close contact, so there's a higher concern there. Today, our Anthony Castora went to a gym that reopened to see the changes they have there.
Before you even enter the 9 round here in Rock Hill, there's a long list of guidelines people are expected to follow. But once you go inside, the owners here actually take it a step further. They have placed this blue tape on the ground in an effort to keep people 6 feet apart. Dennis and Kimberly Carver opened the doors to their 9 round gym in Rock Hill for the first time in more than 6 weeks. It was like Christmas morning for these two. Up before the sun, setting up to see familiar faces.
I haven't worked out in so long.
One by one, their customers showed up as early as 5 a.m. to a gym that resembles the one they left at the end of March.
There are some different cleaning protocols.
The differences are notable. Some are mandated by the state, including maintaining social distance and sanitizing equipment throughout the day, and only a fraction of their maximum occupancy is allowed inside. For 9-round, that's 7 people, including the trainer.
Usually we will re-rack equipment ourselves. This time we have to set on the floor so that the trainers can wipe it down before it's put back.
The owners and their 6 employees studied the recommendations from the state and added even more, like implementing scheduled sessions to allow more time to clean.
We're always ready to make any kind of changes that we need to do.
They know not everyone will be ready to come back all at once, but it is a steady process.
We're taking the steps necessary to make sure that people are safe.
COVID hit deep, but they're bouncing back.
I'm just so thankful that we're able to get back and work out, even with these minor restrictions.
9-round and several other gyms have gone above and beyond what the state is recommending in terms of safety guidelines. So before you head out to a gym, just make sure you're checking with your personal facility to see what those policies are. Back to you.
Our Anthony Costura reporting there. In addition to gyms, massage parlors, spas, and tattoo parlors are also allowed to open back up today in South Carolina. Workers at the Citadel in Salisbury say they did not have access to PPE, and management refused to test patients who appeared to have COVID-19. That's according to new court documents in a lawsuit against that facility. New affidavits obtained by Channel 9 detailed the claims against that nursing home. In one, a worker said the staff doctor requested testing for patients with symptoms, but management did not allow that. Another claim is that management locked up the masks to keep staff from having access to them. Now, the Citadel has the largest COVID-19 outbreak in the state right now. We reached out to them for a response. We have not gotten one yet, but we're going to go through all these new documents, and we'll have more on this coming up at 6 o'clock.
North Carolina announced today that it will be providing PPE packs with needed supplies to all long-term care facilities. This comes days after the state ordered testing for everyone in those facilities with one positive case or more. Reporter Mark Becker is joining us with what he has learned about this situation at local homes. Mark?
Well, Erica, Mecklenburg County tells us they are going to be working with nursing homes and long-term care facilities that have had outbreaks of the coronavirus. That would include Peak Resources out here on Central Avenue, because we learned just today that they have had as many as 30 cases involving both residents and staff, and one of those staff members spoke with us today.
I started coughing real bad.
Tina Bird told us it started with that cough last Tuesday night, and then came the fever. And when she found out the next day that other staff here at Peak Resources had tested positive for the coronavirus, she thought for sure they would test everyone.
I didn't know what their holdup was, because they had already heard several other staff members had it. And so I didn't know when they were going to test it.
Instead, she had herself tested on Friday, and it came back positive. We've learned since that the facility has told families that at least 30 people here, including 23 residents, have tested positive. And Mecklenburg County told us today they're working with facilities with outbreaks to make sure that everyone is tested. But it won't undo the worry that's already there.
Yeah, we were supposed to save our masks, put it in a bag, and we can use it again in 5 hours.
Tina Bird wondered out loud how safe it was to reuse masks and gowns, and whether it's why she and some of the others here now are sick.
So I went on to AliExpress and ordered a whole bunch of masks for her.
And Felicia Cole is worried too, for her mother and for everyone she was caring for.
She loves her job, she loves her patients, so it's hard on her not being there for her patients.
And we tried to reach someone here at Peak Resources. I left several phone messages, didn't hear back, even tried their corporate offices in Cary, but have not heard back from them yet, Erica. So from their perspective, we really don't know the situation here, except that they do have an outbreak.
Okay, hope we will hear back from them soon. Thank you, Mark. We do want to give you a look at how devastating this pandemic has been for nursing homes in North Carolina. In the state's last update on Friday, 77 facilities in North Carolina had outbreaks, including 9 of them in Mecklenburg County. More than 2,500 residents and staff have tested positive, and 352 people have died.
If you're concerned about how you're going to feed your children over the summer, CMS says it can help with that. The current meal distribution at grab-and-go sites will stop June 5th. Families will get extra food that day to try to get them through the following week. And then the summer grab-and-go program will start June 15th, along with a modified mobile meal program. We've seen how much families have been in need. Just look at these images. People waiting in line in their car for up to several hours just to try to get some food to feed their family. Now, we're thankful that so many charities have stepped up to provide meals, and people have been helping out and pitching in. And also, just a special thank you to everybody who donated to our virtual food drive this year. Because of all of your help, we already reached our $100,000 goal. Now, that money can help Second Harvest Food Bank buy 700,000 pounds of food for local families. So, of course, we're still collecting donations through the end of the month. And if you do want to donate, every penny helps out local families. Just check 9fooddrive.com.